so much for your time. Overall, I know the season had a weekend break as everyone was in North Wilkesboro. How would you rate your season overall as we approach the Charlotte weekend?
It's been a really solid year. I think I'd give our team probably an A. There are probably little things that we could do better. We're still searching to get into victory lane. We're so close every single week. I feel like we're in the top five competing for wins, but it's just a matter of breaking through and keeping knocking on the door. But I feel like we have some fast cars, and hopefully, it can make it happen here soon.
Now, of course, Portland International Raceway, that's going to be the weekend after. That's where you got a win last year. And then, of course, you won at the Chicago Street Course. So does it seem weird coming to a road course and, oh, we've won here before? Do you feel like one of the favorites entering the road course?
Well, I've always loved the road courses. There's so much that you can do as a driver. You can shift, you're hitting the brakes, you're turning left and right, you're hitting curbs. There's just so much that you can do to try and make your car better at a road course. And it's something I've always looked forward to. So Portland's definitely one of those tracks that, there's a lot the driver can do. So it's enjoyable for us because we're not just handicapped out there. We can really make something happen.
And this year, you got some stiff competition. We're going to have AJ Allmendinger, Shane Van Gisbergen, both of them, of course, with Chevrolets. You're going to be with the Ford camp. Are you seeing a lot of folks coming up to you like, hey, go out there, get this one for the Ford fans?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we want to see a Ford in victory lane. That we were able to get the Cup Series, we were able to get Ford's first victory this year at Darlington, but we want to keep it rolling. We want to get a Ford dark horse in victory lane. So it's definitely we're full forward, and we want to see if the Blue Oval in victory lane. But there's a lot that we got to do right to make that happen. There's so many crazy things that happen on road courses. It's definitely you have to have the full day to put it together.
Now, of course, as the defending series champion in the Xfinity series, the same team. We're seeing where a lot of times a defending champion, the next year seems to be a little bit of a more demands, different schedule because you're not the Xfinity series champion. Have you seen a little bit of that difference when it comes to this year compared to last year when you went to the Xfinity series?
I think overall there's probably just a little bit less nerves, because we have a year under our belt now with our team. We have a really good notebook, so there's just a lot less unknowns, So obviously our team did a great job last year, and we're able to come home with the championship. And this year I feel like we're knocking on the door every single week for wins. So we just got to keep it rolling and hopefully set ourselves up for the playoffs this year.
Now, of course, the playoffs is the big goal. A win, you're in. Last year, Portland, that was a big win for you. When it comes to this track compared to some of the other road courses, what makes Portland so unique compared to the others?
I think the biggest thing is probably just how flat it is. It's really flat. It's hard to make a car work on a flat corner when you have no banking. So it's a difficult place to get the car right. And especially that last corner is always really slick. So just trying to figure out how to get your car to handle how you want it to on those really flat turns is always really hard for the teams.
And of course, the teams, they're the big draw. Your competitors, big turnout the last 2 years at Portland, anticipating another one. How important is the Pacific Northwest to NASCAR, especially could we someday see maybe a Cup Series or more series coming to the Portland area?
It's huge. I mean, I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of fans in the Pacific Northwest. There's a lot of short tracks and a lot of hardcore racers in the Pacific Northwest. So being able to come back with NASCAR there is always really cool. I feel like you hear it all weekend from the fans of how, they missed us so much and they want us back. And it's so cool to bring that happiness back to them, So it's really cool. And NASCAR's able to, it's a long haul for our haulers and everything, but it's definitely worth it to get back to those fans.
And one of the things that's going to make it a little challenging for all the teams too, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to have live pit stops this year at the race compared to the past 2 years where it was just during the stage breaks. What kind of new dynamic did that bring when it comes to strategy? And does that impact the importance of qualifying now that you got live pit stops during the race?
For sure. I mean, we've talked a lot about that actually, because it is going to be interesting. Because we're doing live pit stops, but we don't have our usual pit crew members. So our mechanics are pretty much trying to, pit the car and do it as fast as they can. So it's going to be wild. I mean, there's going to be a big spread in the field on pit road. But it's one of those things that it's the same for everybody, and we just got to figure out how to do it the best. So we've been practicing on pit road and trying to get things as perfect as we can to try and make sure we set ourselves up for a win.
So does that make qualifying a lot more important where you want to be up towards the front? Because when it came for pit stops, especially without the normal crew, if you were to lose 2 or 3 positions, you're still top 10? Or is qualifying still the same importance as, say, last year without the live pit stops?
The biggest thing we would worry about is just where we're positioned on pit road. And I think um, pit road is going to be determined off the weekend before in Charlotte. So I don't think it should be a huge deal, really. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to qualify as much as we as good as we can, because if you're up front, that's obviously the best place you can be. But at the end of the day, I think even if you don't qualify good, you should have an opportunity to go forward.
And the last question I have for you, of course, you won here at Portland 2 years in a row. And considering how NASCAR has been growing internationally with more international fans, you're going to be racing against Shane Van Gisbergen, which has brought a lot of fans from Australia. How big of it would it be to win, especially when you have some heavy competition as NASCAR is gaining more of an international fan base?
Oh, it'd be huge. I mean, I think when you look at the record Shane has and how he won his first time out in NASCAR at Chicago last year, I mean, to be able to race with him and AJ and all the guys in this series, I mean, there are no slouches in this series, especially in the top 15. I mean, we're all definitely capable of winning races, and when you win those, it means that much more.
Well, Custer, thank you